speaking to us about Say It With a Diamond. Please welcome her with salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Shireen is a dentist, happily undertaking her second degree in medicine. She is also a writer and editor for the platform. Salawat.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Shireen. I want to take you through a story first before I start the main section of my little talk. The year is 1938. You are the owner of vast mines filled with a global supply of an unnamed mineral. The mineral is not particularly rare. You have a lot of it, but you have control over all of it. Your mineral is very beautiful. And when it's found, it comes in a stone that sparkles like a star and never loses its shine. You sell a lot of these stones, and people really like them. But they're starting to lose interest, and so their price is falling. They're almost ordinary now, almost boring. So as a wealthy prospector, you have a lot of business sense, and you can't accept that your mine will only bring you a mediocre fortune. You need to make a lot of money, so something must be done. So what do you do? What if people thought that your stones were running out? What if they thought that they needed them? What if they thought there was nothing else like them in the world? So you decide to take all of your stones from your mine, and you hide them away. You hoard them, you put them in an underground vault that's impenetrable. Now the world suddenly thinks that your stones are rarity. And of course, rare things are valuable, so suddenly people are willing to pay a little bit more for them. But you don't stop there. You don't want people to just want your stones. You want them to need them. You want them to be a necessity, a given, a non-negotiable. And who better to sell your now seemingly rare, seemingly valuable stone to? Poor, vulnerable young men, hopelessly in love and desperate to prove it. So you hunt down the best advertiser in the business, and you give them an idea to seed into the hearts and minds of every person out there. That your stone is what proves that love is real and that it's everlasting. So you tell them that a diamond is forever. You are now unstoppable. Your genius advertising has changed hearts and minds throughout the country. Everyone who's ever been in love can now only say it with a diamond. But not only any diamond, a diamond that's worth 3 months' salary. So within a few years, your profits have grown hugely, and people are working blood, sweat, and tears to buy a diamond engagement ring for their sweethearts. Within a few more years, a diamond engagement ring is a tradition, and you can get away with adverts like this. And this. And this. And I'm dreading to think of the laughs I can hear from the men's side, so I'm not going to listen. This is the story of De Beers, the diamond mining company founded in South Africa by Cecil Rhodes. Whilst holding the monopoly of the global diamond supplies, De Beers artificially limited their supply to the world's market in order to artificially inflate their prices. They then ran a massive advertising campaign in the 1940s that coined the concept of a diamond engagement ring, something that before that was completely unheard of, and even now is really only limited to the West. Now, 80 years on, diamonds are synonymous with popping the question, and their symbolism as an integral part of getting married has been seamlessly assimilated. But the global diamond industry now is worth over $80 billion. Over the 20th century, this rapidly growing demand for diamond and the huge inflation of their prices has led to the rise of conflict diamonds, defined by the UN as diamonds sold in order to finance rebel groups or groups attempting to overthrow a UN-recognized government. This global political instability and decades-long civil wars throughout southern and western Africa led to diamond mines being controlled by militias who worked the mines by slave labor and sold the diamonds in order to fund their conflicts. This happened throughout the 90s in Liberia, Angola, the Democratic Republic of Congo, the Republic of the Congo, Ivory Coast, South Africa, Zimbabwe, and most famously in Sierra Leone, where the rebel group, the Revolutionary United Front, fought a brutal civil war against the government where they mutilated and murdered civilians in order to stop them voting, which was all funded by diamonds mined in Sierra Leone. The diamonds produced during these conflicts are smuggled to neighboring African countries, falsely certified, changing their country of origin, and then released onto the international market, ready for anyone to buy them unsuspecting of their true origin. In an attempt to put a stop to the use of these diamonds to fund conflict, in Angola, Liberia, and Sierra Leone, the Kimberley process was instated by the UN. This is a global certification scheme that requires all member countries to agree to set a minimum requirement, meaning that they cannot trade in rough diamonds originating from conflict zones. It came about as a result from an investigation into the illicit use of diamonds to fund civil war in Angola. Despite Angola being under sanctions at the time, the UN couldn't do anything to stop their extremely lucrative illegal diamond trade until the Kimberley process was instated. The civil war in Angola lasted for 27 years and ended in 2002, but it wasn't until the year 2000 that De Beers stopped trading in Angolan diamonds due to rising awareness about blood diamonds. This trade was promptly resumed by De Beers' main competitor, Lev Leviev, an Israeli business mogul with a keen interest in diamond mining and funding Israeli settlements in Palestine. Leviev has a stake in the only company permitted to trade in Angolan diamonds, with De Beers even attempting to loan the Angolan government $50 million for an exclusive chance to buy diamonds in their Coengo Valley. The Kimberley process was designed so that all diamonds being released onto the markets were certified with a country of origin and declared conflict-free. Any country wanting to be a member of this process needed to prove that they were not trading any diamonds coming from a conflict zone. So every diamond exported is accompanied by a certificate, and no diamond may be sold to a non-member country. This process was and continues to be supported by the UN, but recently its overseeing organization, Global Witness, has stepped away from the Kimberley process, stating that it's not done enough to stem the flow of conflict diamonds. It's received widespread criticism as well, and really its only supporters now are the UN, De Beers, and Leviev. The main problem with the Kimberley process is that its definition of what a conflict diamond is extremely narrow. It defines a conflict diamond as one that's sold to finance a rebel group or organization attempting to overthrow a UN-recognized government. It does not include diamonds being sold by members of a government that's financing human rights abuses of its own people. So given the sheer number of governments that are committing these kind of abuses happening right now, this definition of a conflict diamond is not fit for purpose. So a big issue for the Kimberley process currently is Zimbabwe, which has been running a state-sponsored diamond smuggling operation for almost a decade, whilst maintaining its position as a member state of the Kimberley process. In 2006, one of the world's largest diamond mines was discovered in the Marangi district of eastern Zimbabwe, which is pointed out there. At the same time, Zimbabweans living in poverty actually increased to 72% of the population, with those living in extreme poverty being at 22.5%. None of the wealth from this mine has reached the Zimbabwean people, and not even the people who are working in the mine. What should have been used as a national resource to lift the nation out of poverty has been exploited by private mining companies who are with no regard for the welfare of the people that they're stealing from. Investigations by Global Witness have revealed that the organization really benefiting from these mines in Zimbabwe are the government intelligence agencies and the military. This is especially concerning in a country that has committed so many human rights abuses recently that if the military is not relying on funding from a national budget and their economic interests are reliant on the political party maintaining their power, then the democratic process is completely undermined. So the Kimberley process was not conceived such that governments like this can benefit from diamond trades. But this doesn't just include countries where diamonds are mined. Israel is one of the world's largest centers for polished diamonds, with diamonds being their largest export. It's a participating member of the Kimberley process, but as a government actively operating in an apartheid state, their profiting from the sale of diamonds should also fall under the definition of a conflict diamond, but it doesn't. So to quote Blood Diamonds' Danny Archer, "Who do you think buys the stones that I bring out? Dreamy American girls who want a storybook wedding and a big shiny rock. It's like the ones they see in the advertisements in your politically correct magazines. The world wants what we have, and they want it cheap. We're in business together." So the level of violence involved in mining and distributing diamonds is only possible because of the people willing to pay so much money for them, and they do so unquestioningly. Diamonds basically don't mean anything. that their place in the tradition of marriage is due to a really successful advertising campaign that happened less than 100 years ago, telling you that your love is better because you have a diamond. But no love is better or worse for the presence of one. So maybe it's time for us all to be more imaginative, because there are lots of other stones to choose from. And even with the best of intentions, conflict-free doesn't really mean conflict-free.